So the king and Haman went to dinner with Queen Esther. At the second dinner, while they were drinking wine, the king again asked, "Queen Esther, what would you like?" "Half of my kingdom. Just ask, it's yours." Queen Esther answered, "If I have found favor in your eyes, O king, and if it pleases the king, give me my life, and give my people their lives. We have been sold, I and my people, to be destroyed, sold to be massacred, eliminated. If we had just been sold off to slavery, I wouldn't even have brought it up. Our troubles wouldn't have been worth bothering the king over." King Xerxes exploded. Where is he? This is monstrous. An enemy, an adversary? This evil Haman, said Esther. Haman was terror-stricken before the king and queen. The king, raging, left his wine and stalked out into the palace garden. Haman stood there pleading with Queen Esther for his life. He could see that the king was finished with him and that he was doomed. As the king came back from the palace garden into the banquet hall, Haman was groveling at the couch on which Esther reclined. The king roared out, "Will he even molest the queen while I'm just around the corner?" When that word left the king's mouth, all the blood drained from Haman's face. Harbona, one of the eunuchs attending the king, spoke up. "Look over there. There's the gallows that Haman had built for Mordecai, who saved the king's life. It's right next to Haman's house, 75 feet high. The king said, 'Hang him on it.'" So Haman was hanged on the very gallows that he had built for Mordecai, and the king's hot anger cooled. That same day, King Xerxes gave Queen Esther the estate of Haman, arch-enemy of the Jews, and Mordecai came before the king because Esther had explained their relationship. The king took off his signet ring, which he'd taken back from Haman, and gave it to Mordecai. Esther appointed Mordecai over Haman's estate. Then Esther again spoke to the king, falling at his feet, begging with tears to counter the evil of Haman the Agagite and revoke the plan that he had plotted against the Jews. The king extended his gold scepter to Esther. She got to her feet and stood before the king. She said, "If it please the king, and he regards me with favor and thinks this is right, and if he has any affection for me at all, let an order be written that cancels the bulletins authorizing the plan of Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, to annihilate the Jews in all the king's provinces. How can I stand to see this catastrophe wipe out my people? How can I bear to stand by and watch the massacre of my own relatives?" King Xerxes said to Queen Esther and Mordecai the Jew, "I've given Haman's estate to Esther, and he's been hung on the gallows because he attacked the Jews. So go ahead now and write whatever you decide on behalf of the Jews, then seal it with the signet ring. An order written in the king's name and sealed with his signet ring is irrevocable." So the king's secretaries were brought in on the 23rd day of the 3rd month, the month of Sivan, and the order regarding the Jews was written word for word as Mordecai dictated, and it was addressed to the satraps, governors, and officials of the provinces from India to Ethiopia, 127 provinces in all, to each province in its own script and each people in their own language, including the Jews in their script and language. He wrote under the name of King Xerxes and sealed the order with the royal signet ring. He sent out the bulletins by courier on horseback, riding the fastest royal steeds bred from the royal stud. The king's orders authorized the Jews in every city to arm and defend themselves to the death, killing anyone who threatened them or their women and children, and confiscating for themselves anything owned by their enemies. The day set for this in all King Xerxes' provinces was the 13th day of the 12th month, the month of Adar. The order was posted in public places in each province so everyone could read it, authorizing the Jews to be prepared on that day to avenge themselves on their enemies. The couriers, fired up by the king's orders, raced off on their royal horses. At the same time, the order was posted in the palace complex of Susa. Mordecai walked out of the king's presence wearing a royal robe of violet and white, a huge gold crown, and a purple cape of fine linen. The city of Susa exploded with joy. For Jews, it was all sunshine and laughter. They celebrated. They were honored. It was that way all over the country, in every province, every city. When the king's bulletin was posted, the Jews took to the streets in celebration, cheering, and feasting. Not only that, but many non-Jews became Jews. Now it was dangerous not to be a Jew.